What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Arman has shared concerning details about his health and the real reason he was forced to pull out of his highly anticipated fight with Islam Makhachev. Appearing on a live stream alongside the MMA guru and Aiden Ross, Arman opened up about an injury that has been quietly affecting him behind the scenes. During the conversation, Arman revealed that a hernia was the main issue that stopped him from competing. After his most recent fight, he underwent an MRI, which confirmed the problem. While explaining the situation, Arman admitted it was difficult to describe clearly in English, but the scan showed that he is dealing with a hernia that could become a long-term concern if it continues to flare up. Arman explained that surgery is a real possibility. At the moment, the decision depends on whether the injury keeps bothering him. If the pain returns or worsens, he may have no choice but to undergo surgery to remove the hernia. While nothing is fully confirmed yet, the uncertainty alone has clearly been frustrating for him. He also described how painful the injury was at its worst. According to Arman, his back completely locked up, leaving him unable to move properly. The discomfort was so severe that basic movement became nearly impossible for a period of time. It wasn't just a minor issue that could be ignored or pushed through in training. Thankfully, Arman shared that after 2 to 3 weeks, his condition began to improve. He slowly regained mobility and was eventually able to start moving, running, and training again. Even so, the injury remains something he is monitoring closely. For now, Arman is focused on recovery and staying healthy, knowing that one wrong move could force surgery and more time away from competition. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news. Alex Pereira is being viewed as one of the few fighters with a realistic chance of knocking out Jon Jones. Jones has gone through an entire legendary MMA career without taking many truly damaging shots, building his reputation as one of the most durable and well-rounded fighters the sport has ever seen. However, former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz believes Pereira could be the exception. In recent months, talk of a potential showdown between Jones and Pereira has continued to grow, especially since both fighters have publicly shown interest in making the fight happen. The matchup has been described as a fantasy fight, but one that carries very real danger, particularly because of Pereira's striking power. While speaking with HomaFight, Blachowicz shared his thoughts on how that fight could unfold if it ever becomes reality. According to Blachowicz, Pereira has the kind of knockout power that can change everything in a single moment. He stated that Pereira absolutely has the ability to finish the fight before the final bell, emphasizing that one clean shot could be enough. Blachowicz even floated the idea that such a massive fight could take place at a special venue like the White House, adding to the spectacle surrounding the potential matchup. Despite the excitement and speculation, the reality of the situation is far less certain. As things stand, the fight does not appear to be close to happening. Jon Jones recently explained in an interview with Red Corner MMA that he does not believe Dana White is currently interested in booking the bout. While Jones has expressed openness to the idea in the past, he suggested that the promotion may not see it the same way. For now, the matchup remains a massive what-if. Pereira's knockout power continues to spark debate about whether anyone could truly put Jones away, while Jones's legacy and control inside the cage keep him favored against almost anyone. Even without confirmation, the discussion alone shows just how dangerous and intriguing a clash between these two elite fighters would be. Moving on to another news. Colby Covington and Luke Rockhold turned the latest Real American Freestyle pre-fight press conference into chaos as both men unloaded on Bo Nickal in a heated verbal exchange. Covington and Rockhold are set to face each other in the main event of the upcoming Real American Freestyle show. But instead of focusing solely on their matchup, the two surprisingly teamed up to target Nickal during the RAF 5 media event. Bo Nickal is scheduled to wrestle Yoel Romero in the co-main event, yet the spotlight quickly shifted when Covington began firing shots. Covington claimed he was there to save wrestling, blasting what he described as entitled and boring names who think they deserve the main event. He reminded everyone that his name is already written into history books, referencing his drawing power at Madison Square Garden and positioning himself as a real star of combat sports. The trash talk escalated fast, with Rockhold and Coving Nickal's lacking of main event experience and questioning his credibility. Rockhold piled on by bringing up past losses and suggesting that Nickal had not earned the right to talk the way he does. Covington continued pressing, calling Nickal a nobody and insisting that big money fights are reserved for proven names, not untested prospects. Rockhold added that wrestling needs personalities who are willing to speak up and call their shots, arguing that silence and entitlement are killing the sport. When Nickal suggested wrestling first and fighting later, Covington laughed it off, dismissing the idea as too easy and once again questioning Nickal's relevance. The exchange grew increasingly personal, with Covington accusing Nickal of quitting in MMA and claiming he has done nothing of significance inside the cage. Rockhold doubled down, stating that Nickal should focus on breaking into the top 10 before speaking on a sport that helped build MMA in the first place. According to Rockhold, wrestling only has a platform like this because of MMA, and Nickal has yet to truly prove himself there. The tension in the room was obvious, as the back and forth turned the press conference into one of the most talked about moments of the event. Later on, Bo Nickal responded on X, refusing to back down from the criticism. Nickal directly called out Colby Covington for a fight, suggesting they meet on the rumored UFC White House card. He said he would love to fight Covington, but questioned whether Covington would actually accept the matchup. Nickal also pointed out that they weigh the same, making the potential fight even more realistic. The call-out immediately fueled speculation and added another layer of drama to an already explosive situation. Moving on to another news, Arman found himself in a tense back and forth with MMA Guru during a recent live stream, and it quickly became one of the most talked about moments from the broadcast. The disagreement started when MMA Guru confidently claimed that Ilia could defeat Islam Makhachev at lightweight, a take that Arman immediately pushed back on. As the discussion heated up, MMA Guru clarified that he was not talking about a welterweight matchup, but specifically at 155 pounds. Arman strongly disagreed, making it clear that he does not believe Ilia has what it takes to beat Islam at lightweight. While Guru argued that the matchup would be competitive and pointed to Ilia's skill set, Arman shut the idea down almost instantly. Arman dismissed the argument by saying Ilia relies mainly on boxing and nothing more. When Guru responded by saying Ilia also has grappling, Arman challenged that claim directly, asking where that grappling was supposed to be. Guru then brought up Ilia's submission win over Bryce Mitchell as proof, but Arman still did not look convinced and continued to downplay the comparison. The exchange showed a clear clash of opinions, with Arman defending Islam's dominance and experience at the highest level. From Arman's perspective, Islam is not just a lightweight champion, but a complete fighter whose wrestling, control, and overall skill set separate him from most of the division. The conversation remained intense but entertaining, with neither side backing down. The live stream itself featured several viral moments beyond the debate. At one point, Arman jokingly offered MMA Guru $20,000 if he could secure a takedown on him. The challenge did not go as planned for Guru, who failed to get the takedown and ended up slipping and falling multiple times in the process. Overall, the stream delivered non-stop entertainment, sharp opinions, and plenty of clips that quickly spread across social media. Arman made it clear that he stands firmly behind Islam and has little patience for claims that underestimate him. Moving on to another news, speaking about Bo Nickal and his loss to RDR, one of his coaches at ATT, Mike Brown, recently spoke with MMA Fighting and shared some candid thoughts about Nickal's rapid rise in MMA. Brown revealed that Nickal was moved a bit too fast through the ranks, explaining that everyone involved, Nickal, the team, and management, knew it, but the push came with bigger paychecks. He mentioned that if a fighter is earning significant money, they're rarely given easy matchups, and the organization tends to fast-track them against tougher opponents instead of letting them warm up on prelim fights. Brown's comments highlighted the pressures that come with rapid success, acknowledging that while the step-up was challenging, it was also necessary for growth and earning potential in the sport. Later, Bo Nickal responded to Brown's remarks on X, showing appreciation for the support and guidance he's received throughout his career. He wrote that Brown's points were very true and expressed gratitude for everyone who has helped him along the way, including Coach Mike and his management team. Nickal emphasized that they are all in it together, working to improve every day, and he thanked everyone in his corner as well as his supporters for sticking with him through the ups and downs. The exchange gave fans insight into the behind-the-scenes challenges fighters face when climbing the MMA ladder. It also showcased Nickal's mindset, highlighting his focus on growth, teamwork, and continuous improvement, despite the high stakes and tough matchups he's been handed early in his career. Moving on to another news, Arman has made it clear that he has no interest in serving as a backup fighter for UFC 324, Despite holding his position as the #1 contender in the UFC lightweight division, Arman does not see value in cutting weight unless there is a guaranteed fight waiting for him. After Arman's dominant win in November, which pushed his winning streak to 5, many fans believed he had earned the next title shot. Support for him fighting for the belt grew rapidly online. However, those expectations were shaken when it was announced that Paddy Pimblett would face Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title at UFC 324, leaving Arman completely out of the event. The decision sparked widespread criticism across social media, with many questioning why the top contender was sidelined. That led to speculation about whether Arman could at least be named the official backup for the January 24th interim title fight. According to Arman himself, that option is off the table. In a recent interview, he explained that he has not been contacted by the UFC about being a backup and would not cut weight just for financial compensation. He emphasized that the weight cut process is extremely difficult and stressful, and without a confirmed fight, it simply is not worth it. Arman added that if the UFC were to formally ask him, he would consider it, but since no request was made, he sees no reason to put his body through that strain. For him, cutting weight only makes sense if he is stepping into the cage. Anything else is a waste of energy and preparation. He also pointed to a past experience as a reason for his stance. Last June, Arman cut weight and officially weighed in as the backup for the Ilia vs. Charles Oliveira fight. Despite doing everything required of him, the opportunity never came, and he felt the entire process drained him physically and mentally. He explained that training camps and weight cuts take a heavy toll, and going through all of that without fighting is frustrating. For now, Arman appears focused on staying healthy, continuing to train, and waiting for a real opportunity that aligns with his status as the top contender. He remains confident in his position and is clearly unwilling to take unnecessary risks unless a meaningful fight is guaranteed. Moving on to another news, Justin Gaethje may be entering the final chapter of his legendary career, and UFC 324 could decide everything. Gaethje recently sparked headlines when he suggested that retirement was on the table if he wasn't granted another title opportunity. Now, that possibility feels more real than ever, because if he doesn't win at UFC 324, he could be done for good. Gaethje is set to face Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight belt on January 24th in Las Vegas. According to longtime coach Trevor Wittman, this fight represents one last push toward gold. Speaking with ESPN MMA, Wittman made it clear that this is not about hanging around for paydays or becoming a gatekeeper. This is about winning. If Gaethje doesn't leave the cage as champion, the gloves may be hung up for good. Wittman described this as their final run, stressing that Gaethje has always been a goal setter, not someone chasing money fights without purpose. However, if Gaethje does win the interim belt, the outlook changes completely. Wittman believes Gaethje would be motivated to defend the title repeatedly and fully embrace a championship run. At the same time, there's an understanding that family, health, and long-term well-being matter more than anything. Gaethje is 37 years old and has been through countless wars inside the octagon, so the clock is undeniably ticking. When it comes to strategy, Wittman hinted that fans could see a more well-rounded approach this time. He emphasized that Gaethje has invested heavily in his grappling and wrestling, particularly in offensive and positional control. While fans have heard similar promises before, only to watch Gaethje rely mostly on striking, Wittman insists they are prepared for every phase of the fight, not just a stand-up battle. Despite that confidence, many analysts and betting lines currently favor Pimblett to walk away with the interim belt. Still, not everyone agrees. Michael Chandler, who previously fought Pimblett, recently explained why he leans toward Gaethje. Chandler pointed to Gaethje's reach, leg kicks, patience, and composure, calling him a completely different animal compared to Pimblett's past opponents. In Chandler's view, Gaethje has what it takes to claim the interim title. Chandler even went a step further, suggesting that Gaethje could potentially defeat Ilia later in the year. While he admitted that Ilia might be the most skilled fighter in the UFC right now, Chandler made it clear that if there's one veteran fans would love to see finally capture gold, it's Justin Gaethje. For Gaethje, UFC 324 isn't just another fight. It's a defining moment that could determine how his career is remembered forever. Moving on to another news. Islam Makhachev, widely regarded as the biggest Russian MMA journalist and freshly crowned Best Russian MMA Journalist of 2025, dropped explosive news that set the Russian MMA world on fire. He revealed that Dana White personally reached out to Khabib to open negotiations for a potential return tied to a once-in-a-lifetime event at the White House. This revelation comes after multiple Russian outlets reported that Saudi businessmen are ready to financially back the UFC and cover Khabib's salary if he agrees to come back for a single fight. The number being discussed is absolutely staggering, with reports suggesting a $100 million payday for one fight. Such a figure would not just break UFC pay records, it would completely shatter them and put the payout in an entirely different universe. The reports also claim that former United States President Donald Trump is fully on board with the idea, recognizing Khabib as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, even years after his retirement. While nothing has been signed or made official yet, the fact that Dana White made a direct phone call to Khabib shows that this situation is far beyond internet speculation. What once sounded impossible is now being validated by one of the most credible voices in Russian MMA. According to Bekbadaev, Dana White and his team requested the phone call and spoke with Khabib just a few days ago. The outreach was conducted officially through the Russian UFC media team, highlighting how serious Dana is about the potential return. This type of personal involvement from Dana happens more often than many realize, especially when something truly matters to him. Dana is known to take personal interest in these situations. On multiple occasions, he has even called the Russian UFC team to flag journalists for potential bans from future events if he didn't like what was said or written about the promotion or fighters. Conor McGregor has acted similarly in the past. Years ago, when a Russian fighter made an offhand comment about McGregor, he went as far as contacting the Russian UFC media team directly to find out who was responsible. This love involvement from Dana White, combined with the financial backing and political support reportedly behind the White House event, makes the possibility of Khabib's return one of the most talked about and unprecedented developments in MMA history. The situation continues to unfold, and fans around the world are watching closely as negotiations potentially move toward reality. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.